Wait for my signal.
We learn the truth one way.
Hello there, I'm Begalius, and it is here. It is time. Black Ops 6 has finally arrived, and actually it's been out for a while, but I wanted to spend some time with this game before I properly reviewed it, head to toe, start to finish. So in this review we're going to be looking at the campaign and the multiplayer. I'm going to be honest with you, not really a zombies guy. I've touched the zombies and actually it looked really interesting, but you're going to have to go somewhere else for a review for that. And also, I don't really fuck with Warzone. I just don't bother with it. I'm not a Warzone guy. But I say we get started straight away with the campaign. Now this campaign, when I first heard that IGN gave it a 9, and also on OpenCritic it's standing on a very respectable, I think 81 currently, I thought, well, how good could it be? You know, 9 out of 10? We haven't seen a score like that since the glory days of Call of Duty. What could they have done that was so crazy and could have earned them that score? My god, this campaign's crazy! It's crazy. It lowers you into a full sense of security, and you initially think that it's just going to be a normal Call of Duty campaign with some like open world bits mixed in there. And let me just tell you this, let me sum it up, and this may be a minor spoiler alert. I did not have throwing a random open world Call of Duty campaign mission into the mix just as a mission, as a fully fledged open world, fully explorable map with side quests, loot, and fast travel as one singular mission, just one mission in this campaign as a sort of deviation, and drivable vehicles as well. The objective is that you have to destroy 3 things, but you get an entire open world map just to explore. It's like a Middle Eastern map that you can explore. That is absolutely insane for a Call of Duty game, and it's not even the craziest thing that happens in the game. Now, if you have played the campaign, then I'd say the following mission is just batshit crazy. I can't even explain it to you. Yeah, believe it or not, you're not gonna believe this. It feels like it draws inspiration from the Remedy game Control. That's how crazy things get in this campaign. It's unlike any Call of Duty game I've played before, and it's not even close. They really take a full, not just like a step further into the trying different things style that Call of Duty honestly has been going for the past few years. They've been looking for a new, unique approach to campaign. They've not just taken a step, they've taken a giant leap into something absolutely insane, and it works. They really commit to this. You can tell that this is a campaign that has had a lot more time invested into it, because the production of this campaign is ridiculous. It's amazing. They have these open world zones, but they're fully fleshed out with detail everywhere, and excellent presentation. It's really honestly crazy, but it's not just that, it's the other ways with which they play around with the missions. Every mission is so much longer, feature packed, so much to do, and so many different ways to approach, and so many side things to do. You can really, create a unique experience. I had one experience where I was just chatting to people and coercing them into letting me go somewhere, and then that crescendoed into a giant gunfight. Things like this. I've never played anything like this in the Call of Duty series, anything even close to this, and the story is fantastic. The characters are great. It feels good to play a Call of Duty game where I care about the characters again, where I'm moving along with the story with them. So much so that I actually kind of regret praising Modern Warfare 2022's campaign as much as I did, because this is so much more of a step up, and than that one. And the soundtrack absolutely slaps. They're very liberal with the soundtrack. They just don't care, man. They'll throw it in and in and in and in. All in all, it's such a good campaign. I will say, it's not like it's shooting people, and sometimes you do, feel the shooting gallery aspect of it. IGN also mentioned that they do sort of rehash juggernauts, and there's no unique way of creating different enemies, and that is true. It is always going to be the same enemy type with Call of Duty, so it's not like a masterpiece, but man, it is a very, very solid campaign, very good. And for the first time, I'm almost recommend buying this game just for the campaign, and I haven't been able to say that for a very long time in this series. Very, very good. But that's probably not what you came here for. You want me to talk about the multiplayer. So what's here? What's here for multiplayer? What have we got this year? I want to preface this by saying that you have to spend time with this multiplayer. If you're not intending to get rid of this game, if you want to keep it, if you want to come back to it, you have to spend some time with this game, nurture your time with it, get used to it, and really home in on exactly how the game plays. Because when I initially played the game, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I thought that oh, yeah, this is pretty good. I'm not sure I'm going to prestige all that many times, but this is pretty good. But the more I played it, things began to click a lot more. And I will say this straight off the bat: when everything clicks, when everything joins, when you find a weapon that you just really like and you upgrade it and tweak it and work with it, you're on a great map, you're playing against people who are just there to have fun and not being too sweaty or too annoying, you click with the Omni movement and everything just flows. This game has exceptional gameplay, very good, very tight, very fluid, and it just works immaculately well. Controversial opinion, I think Call of Duty just in general has phenomenal gameplay, really fantastic gameplay. Unfortunately the stuff around it doesn't always work the way you want it to, but I do think that Call of Duty has excellent gameplay. And when you mix that with this new Omni movement system and the approach to fluidity, weapon sway, and everything that molds around the Omni movement system, when you bundle all of that together, it can lead to just brilliant gameplay, really excellent gameplay. Now, like I said in my previous video, I think the biggest strength for me is that this feels so nostalgic and it feels like an old school approach to Call of Duty. Not all of it, but a lot of the bollocks that has been surrounding Call of Duty, and a lot of the stain that games like Modern Warfare 2 2022 had left behind, things like the awful UI and the just horrible approach to progression and things like that. A lot of that has been thrown to the wayside and replaced with an old school approach. You level up your weapon and you can upgrade it, and the upgrades actually mean something. You prestige and you actually prestige. You don't have to wait until the next season. The attachments feel meaningful. Customization feels fun. Customization actually feels fun. A lot of that stuff, it's broken through the mundane awkwardness and just annoying nature of some of the Call of Duty games of recent, and that's what's really great about it. Now, I will say it doesn't break the mold. It doesn't do anything crazy. I will say Omni movement is the biggest change to gameplay that we've had since Modern Warfare 2019, and it's a great change, a really good addition, and I like using Omni movement. I like diving out of the way of a frag grenade backwards. It's super fun and makes Call of Duty feel a little bit different, though those moments are very few and far between, and it really doesn't do anything exceptional to the gameplay. I wouldn't say that this new game feels as big a leap as Black Ops 4 to Modern Warfare 2019. It's a few changes, a few tweaks here and there, and like I said, a simplification and retraction back to the glory days of Call of Duty, though unfortunately some of those issues still rear their head. I'm not a fan of operators. I just don't care for them. It's just completely meaningless to me. I very rarely even choose an operator. I usually just choose one at the start, and that's about it. The Call of Duty launcher, I know this isn't on Black Ops 6, but my god, what the hell. Speaking of stains left over from Modern Warfare 2, it's cumbersome and ugly, the UI is bad, and I don't like that. The UI for Black Ops 6 itself, great. If I just booted the game, you get 3 little options and that cool key image in the background, although I feel that will change with seasons. That would be sweet. I'd love that. It's very like old school. Like, here are your options. Do one of them. And you know, once again, we have an emphasis, like the old days. We have an emphasis on ranks, and you have a little profile, and it like showcases things. And there's these cool weapon mastery badges that you can have showcased on your profile for when you get to the winner's circle, or if you get to the winner's circle. Which again, I'm not a huge fan of. It kind of makes the game feel a little bit unserious and janky at times. And it's really just there to show off your microtransactions. Yeah, the store is a heavy focus again. You boot up the game and you're given these like horrible messages telling you to buy things. I don't like that at all. And I will say that, you know, the maps, I like the maps. I like the suite of maps we have. Though, you know, I said this in a previous video, there are very few that kind of like grab me that much. None of them blew me away. But there are a few that I like. Vorkuta, I think it is, I like a lot. I think that's a great map with a good layout and a good aesthetic, and you know, I really like that one. Skyline, I think, is a fairly cool map. I like the train derail map actually, though it is a little bit tight and small. And of course, as I mentioned in a video a couple months back, I love Rewind because of its old school aesthetic, but nothing like grabs me in a huge way. Nothing's on the level of like Summit back in the day, or Launch, or Raid, or something like that. I wouldn't say anything is on the level of that. But these maps are all great. There's nothing as bad as Piccadilly, and nothing as bad as, honestly, a lot of the maps from I don't know, Vanguard or Advanced Warfare or something like that. Like the maps are solid, and there's nothing really bad in the mix. I will say Payback feels like a map from Vanguard, and honestly, actually, one thing that's weird about this is a few of the maps feel kind of inspired by Sledgehammer maps I've found, which is very strange. I think it's called Payback. It's the map that is the safe house from the campaign. That is lifted straight out of Vanguard by the feel of it. They say that all of these are new maps, and it's cool that these are 16 new unique maps. You know, we haven't had that for a very long time. But this house just feels like a map that I definitely played in Vanguard. And then there's another map that's set in like this base that's sort of in this elevated position. It was accessible through the beta, and there's these like attack helicopters flanking it. It feels like one of the maps from World War II. Am I crazy? The sort of rooftop map. It was a fairly close quarters one. Yeah, there are a lot of things in this game that do feel as though we've kind of seen them before. That Vorkuta map that I spoke about feels like a cross between the Black Ops 3 like train map that was kind of set in like a deserty area, and aesthetically something like WMD. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of like, though these are new maps, there's a lot of the history of Call of Duty sort of in the bones of these maps. And on the one hand, it can be good because it sort of, you know, brings back those memories and makes it feel inescapably Call of Duty, and on the other hand, it does at times just feel like, okay, well, I've done this before, and you will get that sense with this multiplayer sometimes. But like I said, if that isn't an issue for you, and it's not an issue for me, and you're looking for an experience that feels like that old school Call of Duty, then it feels like that's what they've tried to do here. It feels like they're trying to please the fans and do everything they can to just make us happy. But we never will be Treyarch, and it slaps. It's really great. It is a lot of fun, this multiplayer. So, for all of its issues and for all of its positives, this is my score currently for Black Ops 6. Yes, it is a good score, and much higher than the score from last year. This is the best Call of Duty game that I've played in a while. Now, we are still in the honeymoon phase, so I will come back to this and keep you updated on what I think of the game, but currently very happy. Though don't take my word for it, this is on Game Pass and you can download it for free, quote unquote free, if you do have Game Pass, but definitely check out more reviews because I do tend to get caught up in the moment when it comes to games like this. But this is a very good Call of Duty game, so bear that in mind, and I will see everyone later.
PlayStation's only $149, and you can also get leading titles. The PlayStation's only $149, and you can also get leading titles.